RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Monday night edition, the last week of the month of October. And a lot of stories we're touching on, so we're going to definitely do that. And before I dive in any further, I want to make sure I acknowledge a couple of people, any first-time viewers or whatnot. Feel free to let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to acknowledge your presence. And then when the phone lines open up, we'd love to hear from you guys as well. Numbers 313-462-0027. All righty, man. Where do we begin? Oh my goodness, so much stuff happening right now. But yeah, exciting times because we're on the winning side of this, no matter what. But hope everyone's doing well. Definitely let me know where you're watching from via chat. We'll love to acknowledge your presence. And if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button ahead of time, hopefully to notify a few people so they can jump in here and we can make this thing work. But let's jump right in. So we got JoJo Wave. We got Barlight Broker. We got Mr. Nitty. We got Faith Parent S400 checking in. We got DC Precise, Unrealized Capital Gains Tax. Yeah, we're going to touch on that. We got Timo. We got Mr. Steve. We got Lala checking in. Groveland Gal. Appreciate you tuning in. We got Monero Wana. Okay. Blackjack checking in. Tom. Okay. Kenneth. Appreciate you guys, man. We got Chef. We got Jane, Sherry. So I feel bad for other countries, but who is she trying to fool? All right, man. So lots of things worth touching on. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Let me know in the chat if the audio is coming through. Just want to make sure everything is running smoothly on my end before I begin ranting and getting into all this stuff. And you guys told me you can't even hear me. So anyway, hope everyone's doing well, man. So what we will touch on first. Definitely want to touch on just some of the price action in the markets lately. A lot of exciting things. And for those that had a chance to check out my Mike and Mario from Friday, having a chance to really just dive into some of the nitty gritty, what's going on, man. Regardless of all the stuff that's being thrown our way. And so over the weekend, Jack Dorsey, of course, came out and talked about hyperinflation. And he's a billionaire. So it's not too often people in the Billionaire Boy Club come out saying something out of the blue that catches attention. So Jack Dorsey over the last couple of months, year or two, has obviously jumped on the Bitcoin bandwagon. And of course, a lot of people question his intentions because he's already in the uber wealthy class. So why is he all of a sudden now want to free humanity by, incorporating Lightning into Twitter as well as just jump on a Bitcoin thing? So, people have their skepticism towards him. So, let me know what you guys think about him. But definitely caught a lot of attention and caught a lot of people by surprise. But did he speak too soon? Or I'm curious to hear what you guys think as far as his mention of hyperinflation. So we're going to get in that. And actually, I want to share with you. Let me jump in. Let me see here. Let me grab something real quick. Let me just get my stuff together right here. Let me find it before I jump into it. Anyway, I'll just jump into some headlines real quick and then touch on a little price action in the markets. But here is the first article I want to touch on. Just a little headline here. It says Twitter and Square CEO Jack Dorsey says hyperinflation will happen soon in the U.S. and around the world. And so my first thought when I saw this is, what exactly is he looking to do? What is he trying to prove, show, highlight? Is he calling out central banks for their malfeasance towards having completely weaponized national currencies, or what? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. But my first thought was that it has something to do with the direction of the Bitcoin and where the price action is. Ultimately, all the currency will eventually find its way into that space as well as other tangible assets. But yet I just question what his motive was in coming out with that at such an early stage, because I'm not seeing exactly what he's talking about, hyperinflation. And then I hear a lot of commentators, a lot of people in the crypto space as well as metal space, actually arguing now over what exactly is hyperinflation. So a lot of people throwing out all types of figures as to what it means to actually be in an environment where it's hyperinflating. And so based upon what we have now, I'm not quite seeing that in accordance to what the definition might be. But perhaps, when you take in the totality of all the central bank governments, they are hyperinflating the monetary system with all this excess currency creation to prop things up. And so I'm curious to hear what you guys think on this. But it says, just to give you a little hint, it says, quote, "It will happen in the U.S. soon, and so the world. We'll see." But then I came across a tweet that caught my attention. And so this is something that I grabbed over the weekend. And it was actually a maximalist, Bitcoin maximalist, attempting to explain what Jack was referring to. But yeah, I thought this analogy as far as a bucket or drum that's leaking and where it's spewing to kind of makes sense in a way. But give an idea here. This is just from guy Jason. I don't know who he was, but I just was looking through the whole Twitter feed on that statement Jack made, and I came across this. And of course, it has got a lot of attention, a lot of retweets and whatnot. But it says, "Here's a drawing I made to summarize a hyperinflation debate surrounding Jack's tweet." It says economists don't realize the best way to measure USD inflation is to measure it in BTC. Says, which is the exact path of least resistance during a monetary collapse. And so just this little visual aid here, to me, it caught my attention because here we have a drum of water leaking, which I guess, mimics the central banks and their continuous quantitative easing, accommodative policies happening globally. And somehow, some way, all the funds, they're making their way into all the traditional aspects of housing prices, the fraudulent CPI numbers, and of course, stock prices is on boom. But then ultimately, all those funds somehow, some way, will find their way being funneled into the BTC price. And so, I thought that was a great little way of demonstrating, preferably or possibly, what Jack was referring to when he was talking about the whole hyperinflationary environment. But then again, when you look at if you flip this upside down and you take that statement and you look at it in regards to how the price action in just the digital asset space, we're approaching now close to $3 trillion. And so over the last 12 years now, all the currency that's been created has also driven up the price of the majority of the asset bubble class things and consumer good prices. But then again, when it comes to having hyperinflated the price of the digital asset space, BTC is definitely absorbing a lot of that. And it's where, I'm not saying all the smart money is heading, but a lot of people are being steered that way. And so I would assume Jack's thoughts and processes probably has something to do with BTC, because I'm assuming since then he's probably mentioned something about BTC. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And so I say, King D says Jack is whack. And then Chris P says buy Shiba Inu. And so I've actually been following that a little bit. And a lot of people out here are on that bandwagon saying that, once Shibu comes down a couple more zeros, it's going to make a lot of people wealthy based upon the current policies of creating currency until I'm sure it will, but yet it's going to be a mighty expensive environment most people live in at that time. So will it even matter really? But anyway, curious to hear what you guys think. Got a couple more topics here we can touch on. Mark says, Mike, my question is, why are they pushing Bitcoin? Are they going to pull the plug in Bitcoin once lots of people get in on it? Mark, great question. And that's where, man, at this current moment, that's why a little thumbnail I put out here. What's going on, man? Things are getting extremely intense because we know that things are coming apart at the seams. And I have an idea. We all have an idea of where they trying to steer us. But then again, they're making BTC look so appealing. They're making it look so much of a no-brainer. It's one of those things where you have so many people now that are preaching it as if it's gospel-like, as if it's literally, I've heard people even mention God in the same word. And that's the part that concerns me most. But again, we see what's going on. Here's the question. We see where they're steering us. And based upon the current trend and where this is heading, do you or would you want to miss out on the opportunity of being able to grow your bucket so that you can do other things with it? And so they make it kind of hard to resist. And so as of right now, it's 62,000 for BTC. And of course, Ethereum is 42 and everything else. But a lot of this stuff here it's very interesting, I must admit. And as I've said before, I'm very skeptical of it, but yet they're playing a game. So either you're going to be played or you can join the game to some extent and also benefit off of it in the meantime. So everybody's strategy is different. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Torrance says Ethereum solution. Lala said BTC is FOMO amplified. Yeah, and so here's the thing. Let me actually share with you just some other things that is going to be hard to not take note of. I mean, this is where they're steering everybody towards, and this is where they want all the current dollar denominated fiat currency instruments to flow into. And so I shared this over the weekend, but this right here to me, I remember saying this maybe 3 years ago, perhaps, is that the moment pension funds start allocating those savings towards the digital asset space, that will open up a floodgate. And the floodgate is more so because all these parked funds need a place to actually have an opportunity to grow. And so all pension funds are pretty much in trouble right now because we're in a zero rate environment. So and even the person, the fund manager for this was basically saying that the risk is worth it just because right now they're not getting nothing on the safe side, so they have to be more risky. So we just got a mere, I think, was it 25 million into the portfolio, but this pension fund right here opens the door to where there's going to be a lot more coming. And then when you think about how big the pension fund game is, I actually pulled up the numbers, and it's close to 20 or so. Let me see here. Pension fund allocation in America, in USA. And so we have trillions upon trillions that will come looking for opportunities to grow. And you better believe with this ETF stuff, they're going to steer it towards that way. So deny it if you want, do what you want to do with it. It's all fine and good. And then I see here ISP, I need you to call in, my friend, and let me know because you love harping on the ISO 20022, which is the monetary network and framework that the bankers have set up. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. But it says has nothing to go. It has nothing to, I think, nothing to do with CBDC or what. Let me know what that means. This is all a part of their plan. YouTube man says I have ounces of gold, silver, and copper. Yeah, so this is what's going on. So you can't deny it. It is here. It's here, and it is what it is. So take it for what it's worth. Either you play the game or you get played. Either one. Take your pick. But on another side of that, what we are witnessing is a lot of good action in the metal space. And so right now, gold and silver, the primary two monetary metals that have been historically proven to preserve and protect throughout any type of financial issues, seems to be getting a little bit of green action lately. And that's of interest as well, because I'm hearing something about the futures for whatever delivery month, I think November or something like that coming up pretty soon. And they're starting to let this thing rip. And then what will happen? So we'll see if it is able to maintain. But here's another thing worth considering as well. Gold and silver, they are actual monetary instruments. They're technically speaking, they would be considered money in and of themselves. And so other than having real money tangible on the side, it's an insurance style approach, I believe. And so you also have other financial instruments that you can play with as well to help expand and grow your money pile over there. And that's why I'm a believer that there's alternative means to, getting your weight up with less effort and hassle. But anyway, let's keep moving. A couple more articles here. And so let's just talk about, of course, we can't not talk about Janet Yellen. So I want to get on this Kathy Woods first. And so Kathy Woods, the ARK CEO, ARK Investments CEO, she came out with a counter narrative towards Jack Dorsey's hyperinflationary, tweet. And she gave a nice lengthy thread here highlighting three main reasons she sees deflation before she sees hyperinflation. And all three of her examples, once again, to me, also carry a little validity to them as well as make sense. And so hyperinflation, deflation. It looks like the uber wealthy might disagree as to what comes first. But I find it interesting that whether it's Jack Dorsey's with his hyperinflationary talk or tweet, or Kathy Woods with her deflationary rant, either one, both of those individuals are high net worth and high net worth people that actually own tangible assets. So whether it's hyperinflation, they'll be fine, or whether it's deflation, their overall financial well-being will be fine. It's just the people that's caught in the middle, which happens to be the working class, the ones that save fiat currency solely and have all their funds parked in their instruments because they're the owner of all these companies. So they're on a benefit. They're benefiting from holding the middleman's or the middle class's currency and investing it for them. So it's the people caught in the middle that will be hurt the most. And so my personal opinion will be deflation first and then hyperinflation as a follow-up. But yet these people definitely should know better, I would assume. But I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Mark, I appreciate the love chat, my friend. Thank you. Says Mike, this guy on TikTok nails the new system down. I can't put link here. See link in chat. Do me a favor, Mark. Shoot, if you don't mind, shoot that link because I can't grab it out of the chat either. But send me that link to the email address. I'll put this up right here. It's rtdnews@protonmail.com. Send that to me, and I'll throw it up on the screen, and I'd definitely love to take a look at it. And so just for that, so as always, anybody come across news, articles, stories throughout the day, stuff you want to share with the community, send it to that right there or put it in the Discord or Telegram, and I'll make sure I try to grab it. And so just so you guys have something there. But definitely curious to hear that because I think it's always good to be able to get multiple sides of the equation, to be able to put together what makes sense to you. Everybody here perceives things differently. We're all looking at the same events unfold, but everybody see it through a different set of lenses. Some people see it as opportunity. Some people see it as the world's coming to an end. Some people see it as, just they happen to be at the right place, the right time to benefit from things as they unfold. And so I personally think that, we always know that this is the greatest wealth transfer of all times. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that as the system transitions into whatever they're trying to take us to, there's going to be a window of time in the middle. And that window of time in the middle is what we're trying to work out now as to what will take off first in nominal terms, which will give you, relatively speaking, immediate purchasing power to then be able to do more of what you're already doing, which is basically preparing for the long road. Like this is going to be a long 10-year, long road transitionary process, but it doesn't have to be painful. It can be something that you benefit from, I think, if you're on the right side of the equations up front. And that's why, regardless of what we might feel of the long-term aspect of cryptos, I think the fact that they are steering everybody towards Bitcoin, meaning that if you have some exposure to it in the short term, it will only go up. Now, as the game gets underway, that's going to be a whole nother story, but that's too far ahead to even suggest or guess at what they're going to do. What else we got here? I see some Fauci stuff here. Says, don't let Fauci walk your dog. Oh, yeah. I saw that, man. That is, doing experiments on dogs. Yeah, some sicko stuff, man. Mark says, sent my email. Okay, let me jump on real quick. Appreciate you. Let me grab it and see what's going on here. All right. Let me see what we got here. I'm not sure if I can play it or not, but I'll see what pops up. Okay, so here is the video that was referred to by Mark. So if it's 2-3 minutes long, so I won't play it, but it says what's really going on, my interpretation of the whole stuff storm, lockdown, 5G, COVID-19 for you. All right, Mark. So what I'll do, because it'll be 3 minutes, I don't want to play it. It'd take too long to play it, but I'll check it out afterwards. But I'll reshare it here. So if anybody want to find out, this is a recommendation from Mr. Mark here. So definitely check that out. I'll listen to it as well. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you for educating us and keeping us on game. Anyway, let's keep moving. A lot of stuff to talk about. I'm getting behind myself, getting beside myself. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about Yellen. You want to talk about Yellen? So yeah. So regardless, hyperinflation, deflationary first. Uncle Sam is coming for it. They're coming for it, and of course they're coming for unrealized, as they say. But it's not a wealth tax, though. It's not a wealth tax. Let's not call it a wealth tax. It's just that the billionaires, as they like to sell it, the people who make more than their fair share, they're going to be the ones that funds the spending plans. They're going to be the ones that come up with all the funds for the Build Back Better plan. And when you think about this, I think I saw a number of about 300 or 400 billionaires or something like that came to mind. I'm not sure how many billionaires are in this country, but you got to realize this: billionaires, the true billionaires, they don't have liquid assets that are readily available to be sold and turned into fiat to pay a bill. All those billionaire buku guys, they have all their assets or somehow, some way set up in their tax structures, i.e. via trust in some foreign entity, which basically means that they don't even own them themselves. They are just the mere fiduciaries of the trust funds, which means that those funds can't be touched. They're untouchable. So what is she really trying to do here? Oh, she's trying to sell the public on the fact that the wealthy need to pay their fair share, and that's how we're going to pay for this. But then while they introduce this, if it happens to pass, my guess would be it won't pass this first go around, but probably in some future bill, maybe it'll work its way in there. But here is just a little bit more information. It says tax on billionaires. Unrealized gains will likely be in the budget packet, Democrat says. So as of now, they're trying to put that in there. And we'll see what the votes are like. I would just go ahead and say more than likely it'll pass. They'll put this thing in there just because at this current moment, it's a race to the finish line for them to try to bring this thing down as fast as they can and have all of their destruction tactics in play. Everything from the political side, the health side, the monetary side, you name it. And so it says the proposal, which will likely affect fewer than 1,000 of the wealthiest of U.S. taxpayers, would help pay for Biden's social policy and climate legislation. They are lying. As I just mentioned, the uber wealthy, they don't own anything outright. So there won't be no tax in there. But what will happen is this opens the door up so that they can eventually move this type of lingo of taxing the wealthy. They're going to move that threshold down once they are not able to meet their number of tax revenue from the uber wealthy. And they're going to move it down to the working class, the high net worth, high income earners, which are the people who actually work, small business owners, things like that, people who have W-2s. And so that's going to go down to that $400,000 threshold. So you kind of see where this is going. This is where they want to take this. They just open it up by making it seem like it's a good thing and it's going to get the uber wealthy. Then they're going to just dwindle that on down to everybody else. And then also to piggyback on this plays right into let me grab this article here. This plays into the rollout now of let me see. Let me grab my stuff here. I got more articles here. Let me see. Maybe I don't. Do I have them? Give me 1 second. It was the information in regards to knowing how much you have in your financial accounts. And so now it looks like along with that bill might be the the account information. How much do you actually have coming in out of your account? And so let me show you guys this here. So this is just the other angle of this real quick. And then I'll stop open the phone lines. We can talk some more. So here's the article here, just with more details. And so it just says, ultimately, a 10,000 bank snooping threshold would intrude on millions. So it's going to go from tax to uber wealthy, and it's going to work its way on down. And it's probably a very relatively fast time frame here. But it looks like as of now, that whole $600 inflow and outflows in a given year will not fly. But then what will fly is the 10,000. So they're going to have up to $10,000. And what's exempt is that if it's a payroll deposit. So if you get paid from your employer, for those individuals throughout this entire phase of mandates and stuff as more employers cramp down on people. For those that are still able to maintain a direct deposit from their employer, then those will be exempt. But anything above and beyond that equates to over $10,000 will be tracked and traced. And so the whole goal is to basically see how much you have coming in and out, so they can better gauge the wealth that's being stolen from people, as well as their probably give themselves a grade as to how they're doing with the destruction of this country, to see if they need to speed things up, slow things down, or to see where they're at along this way. So, but anyway, this is just more information out there worth touching on. And then also on some more news, let me share something with you here. We have, as of today, we have another rollout of a CBDC, Nigeria, to launch the digital currency today, central bank says. So we have the e-Naira, if I'm saying that correctly. The e-Naira right here was rolled out today, a digital format. And so we'll find out more as days move along, but I'm assuming it circulates along with the other commercial bank digital version of the Naira, as well as their paper notes there as well. So all three probably are circulating, and it's probably a little test run where only some commercial banks get access to the network to then dispersing it throughout the community. So we'll see. But yeah, no doubt, you better believe the Federal Reserve and all the BIS and all those entities are all eyes on that one to make sure it's rolls out smoothly, so they can, so it's going to be all the test cases will be rolled out in smaller nations first to make sure they can handle everything, and then at the very last currency will be rolled out will be here in the U.S. All right, let's keep talking. I see XRP. So a lot of people are loving some XRP. Mark says we need to get out of the system. Yeah, great point, Mark. So here's the thing. The system in of itself is one behemoth of a beast. It's like, to say get out of the system is kind of saying like leave the earth in a sense, because in some form or fashion, we're all in the system because we're in this world. Now it's a matter of how can we, I guess, minimize our dependency upon the system, because as of right now, unless you're 100% off the grid, you create your own food, your own energy, your own, everything is literally if you're self-sufficient, that is the closest to being out of the system as you can probably be in this current moment. And that's great. And I think that'll literally buy the average person 2, 5, maybe 2, 5, 6 years. But once again, my opinion is that after 2025, 2026 will be the next phase of this restructuring of humanity. And then that's when they're going to start infringing upon actual property rights, to where whatever land or plot of land you think you owned, that's when I think at some point they're going to start trying to boot and move people off their land and claiming eminent domain, or who knows what's going to be rolled out there. So ultimately, there'll be no way of truly unplugging from this matrix. It's more so minimizing your exposure to it and dependency upon it. And I see that's for paying taxes. For paying taxes, you'll need to be in the system 100%. And that's where, and so I think right now, it is October 2021. And I saw something, I think somebody put in the Discord saying that November 3rd is I guess they're trying to set up like a national protest or national don't go to work day or something where they're trying to get national attention. And I'm not sure about it because I didn't verify that, but it's movements like that where if we were all able to communicate at one time saying that on this day, nobody spend a dime on anything. And then the next move would be also for everybody who's still employed, have it so that no more taxes are taken out of your check. Like make that statement where no more taxes is taken out of my check. And then that right there will get some attention. And it's not saying you're not paying taxes. You're just deferring at that moment, not to pay at that moment. We get a couple weeks, couple months of that. That'll definitely turn some heads. And that'll get possibly the powers that be thinking. And so literally, if we seize up the economy by not spending, it's going to hurt a lot of people, but it'll prove our point that we're tired of this. And the best way to probably hurt the financial beast is probably to hit the beast where it hurts most. And that's in the credit market, with their own currency. So if we were able to come together like that, then that right there would definitely be in our favor. But as of right now, overwhelming majority of people are still in the system, asleep at the wheel, so they wouldn't join in because in their mind, they're trying to do their part. They're trying to play their part for their fellow citizens so we can go back to normal. It's those people that think we're going back to normal. Those are the people that will be hard to reach. And those are the people who probably going to suffer the most because they have no idea as to what it means to protect themselves and get themselves ready for unfortunate events. S400, appreciate you, man. It says, are we thinking about you can live the world. You can live the world for a small $25,000. You can get on jet, Bezos, Origin train, and travel in space for a day. Yeah, $250 for a couple hours. And so S400, man, like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I question that whole space exploration stuff right now. Like between Elon Musk and Bezos having a race to see who can get into space for a quick minute. I question it, man. And that's where I think it's one of those moments until I see it for myself, I'm going to question it just because I don't really believe that, people are actually leaving the stratosphere as easily as they claim to be because technology it should be there. But then again, you ask yourself, how come the U.S. NASA has not gone back to the moon since? And then I've heard all types of excuses. They lost, the flight plans. They lost whatever. They lost all this stuff. They can't find this, can't find that. And the computer systems are a million times better. So why not? I just question if they went originally. So that's just me. That's just me. Timo says we need to get together like the Amish and refuse to pay taxes. Hey, Timo, I can understand that. I can understand that. Mike RTD puts a $50 bill in one hand and an ounce of silver in the other hand. Okay, ASC American City. Which one will be worth more in 2 to 3 years? Oh, 2 to 3 years. Which one will be worth more? Okay. Just not to be complicated, but how you define worth more? I'm assuming you mean nominal price. So to me, right now, one silver eagle is worth more to me than a $50 bill. I would get a 50 and go get me 2 eagles. Or actually, I can't get 2 because they're $30, give or take. But I will get 2 eagles. But 2 to 3 years, nominal price wise, or you'll have more opportunities and retaining purchasing power to be able to do more with that eagle if you wanted to 2 or 3 years from now than you will with that $50 bill. So with holding a pure paper 50 or digital 50, you won't be able to purchase as many items as you would be if in 2 to 3 years with American Silver Eagle, in my estimation. Let me know what you think. Okay, I'm doing too much rambling. I have let me see. I got a couple more articles here, but I'll save you guys a headache. But let's talk. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Lots of subject matter. So we have Kathy Woods screaming deflation, and then we got Jack talking about hyperinflation. All along, we have Janet Yellen coming for those gains regardless, even if we were to have a massive crash. And if that bill passed, anybody who appeared to profit off of that, they're going to consider it a capital gains type of moment, and they're going to come for that. So the question is, how would they be able to regulate that? How would they be able to enforce that? Up front, initially, it wouldn't happen. I don't think it will go down as smooth that they plan on it to. I think it's more so a scare tactic. But in the long end, the framework will be laid. The laws will be set to where they would have a right to then begin picking on certain people, especially once that whole tax bill or that income surveillance mechanism is set up to where they know how much comes in and out of all your portfolio assets and all your stuff like that. All it's designed to do is just basically audit the working class and those that are profiting off of this digital asset space. Because if they see any discrepancy whatsoever, a mere dollar off, they're coming for you. Okay, so enough of me rant. Let's talk. Let me get these phone lines open real quick. Let's talk what's going on. What are your thoughts on this subject matter? Of course, there's other subjects we can touch on. I definitely want to touch on what it looks like. And of course, Florida right now, DeSantis is doing his thing. And I hope it's genuine. That's all I can say. I hope it's genuine. But the DeSantis plans to offer a $5,000 bonus to police officers to relocate to Florida. So I saw a video earlier, him talking about, we'll treat you good. Come on out to Florida. We'll put you, we'll put you to work here, whatever. So, yeah, we're going to have certain pockets of this country where people will flock to in pursuit of freedom at the expense of other states, and we'll see how long they can last. But like I always said before, it's the states that appear to be going against the grain. We have the Southern Belt, Texas in particular, Florida. Those states are the ones that will be prime territories for events to unfold. And we've never seen a crisis that the orchestrator of this experience would not love to exploit. And so between all the mass shootings we're experiencing right now, which I question all those as well, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some events that unfold in Florida or Texas as they appear to be so rebellious towards the system that it changes people's minds. Hope it don't play out that way, but who knows? Anyway, phone lines are open. Let's talk. What's going on? Let me check in with the chat. Also, highlight at Rethinking a Dollar, and I'll jump on that. So Lala says Florida's a trap. Yeah, I would say that it's so hard to read, man. Like it's literally hard to read all these events as they unfold because I question everything, believe very little, trying to understand it all in the middle. Florida won't be a good place if Cumbre Vieja collapses. Jay, what is that? I'm not familiar with that one. Cumbre Vieja. Let me know what that is. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see what that is. Okay. That the volcano's name in La Palma. Good point. So speaking of which, let me so apart from having seen those visual aids and those graphs or whatnot, of what could happen if the thing completely falls apart, I've seen one little visual aid showing that Florida will be completely submerged underwater. Take it for what it's worth. I mean, it's one of those just little diagrams that the experts love to draw up, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but I would just assume that, Florida, given the fact that it is under the sea line or whatever, so you never know. Anyway, let's talk. Get a call here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What up, Mike? It's Vince Grant. How you doing?
Vince Grant, I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing, buddy? What's on your mind tonight?
Good, man. Just got done playing some roller hockey here in Naples, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I heard Florida. I'm like, hold on here. Nothing's going down in Florida, baby. Nothing's going down in Florida.
Yeah, I hope that's the case, man, because you guys are attracting a lot of attention. Good for the people, but bad for the establishment trying to orchestrate a game plan right now. So,
yeah, there's a lot of attention. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's pulling in a lot of willing and able people to set up barter systems. And a lot of people here are entrepreneurial minded and have a little bit more resources than I guess the average American. So yes and no. I mean, it does have attention, but in the case of like a civil unrest, it would be a really good place to be, opposed to maybe somewhere else. I'm down here now. I think I've said it on the show before. I think everyone should look up Seed to Table. The guy's name is Alfie Oakes. He owns this grocery store down here, and it's unbelievable. He's got a huge following. He was, definitely Trump leaning, but just a patriot and very, like you said, rebellious, against what's going on. So it's a great place to be down here. And, the last thing I hope for is something to go wrong down here. But, I could see what you're saying,
Yeah. Well, I hope not, my friend. Be safe and enjoy Florida, man. I'll hope you see you soon.
I know, man. Hey, come down here, and anyone who wants to come down here, I definitely advise looking into it, because I think with everything going on, it's the best place to be in the world, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Well, we will find out, man. Appreciate you calling in, Vince, man. Good to hear your voice. You got it, Mike.
Be good. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Phone lines are open. Give me a call. So I just put up a little article here about that grocery store from earlier this year. But it talks about grocery store, Florida grocery store bucks backs mandate. Owner says COVID death toll is hogwash. So yeah, here's the little restaurant he's referring to here, or the grocery chain. So yeah, a lot of people are pushing back, man, all across the country. That's a good thing, man. That is a good thing. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. Okay, let's talk. So I saw something in the chat. Let me check in real quick. King D says you will prosper in Florida. It says Alex Jones is promoting Alfie Oaks. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, Mr. Steve. Let's see what we got here. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Andre from Denver, Colorado.
How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Hi, I just talked to a friend of mine. The bottleneck which they have in California on the ports, it's probably because the Homeland Security is screening only for like 8 or 10 hours a day all the containers.
Right.
And they can just unload them going through the port. That's the problem.
8 to 10 hours.
And he's the tracker. He's the tracker.
We got a little back feed there.
Can you check to it, please?
Okay, do me a favor. Can you mute your? I think the computer's playing. I hear like just the back feed of the phone.
Yeah.
All right, and then.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, now give me that. Okay, yeah. Okay. Appreciate you calling, man. So he said Homeland Security is only working 8 to 10 hours to actually check the containers. So that's didn't Biden talk about having a shipping port like the shipping yards and stuff like that, open 24/7. So, so I don't doubt that the Homeland Security aspect of things is very slack and lazy just because that's, part of the government. So that's typical. That's what to be expected. But, so they're selling us hot air talking about, opening things up 24/7. Because I'm thinking like a lot of the private companies. So how do you, have, those private companies get their people? Who's paying for that? Like, is the Uncle Sam paying for that, or that's on the actual shipping yards itself? All right, give me a call. Let's talk. It says RTD all across the world 2 years into this rubbish, only 48%, if you believe it, have done it. They know by now you have either done it or you won't do it. Game over. Time for phase 2. SG. Yeah. So the numbers itself, I believe the numbers are faulties. I don't know what, and it plays into their games of using fake statistics to get people to believe that their plans are working. Like I saw a statistic about the whole lottery, like the lottery they threw out over the summer. And of course, every state said that their lottery was a success, but then it has some independent studies out there and the numbers came back that they were nowhere near effective. They basically just poured money down the drain because majority of people still didn't show up and still didn't participate the way they wanted to. So the first phase was giving donuts and haircuts and joints and lottery tickets and $1 million scholarships and all types of crap. That didn't work. So Biden did mention it. He's doing everything he can. He's getting his patience is running thin or some crap like that, as if there's more to come. So we will see. Anyway, let's talk. Let me see. It says Columbia. Okay, I see something here. It says Alabama fighting federal mandate. That's love right there. Okay, I got too many calls. Let me get this one. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Mike. This is Mike in Philadelphia. How are you,
Mike in Philly. I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
I thank you for the laugh though about the lottery and the donuts. I tried forgetting about that. That was strange stuff. But just about the ports and the state workers in New York trying to maintain their independent health care decisions. What you're hearing a bit about now is the National Guard picking up those routes.
You're breaking up on me. Hello?
Yeah, I'll try again.
Sound like your speaker went out or your microphone?
All right, I'll try again.
There you go. You're good now. Go ahead.
All right, buddy. So I just wanted to talk about the state workers in New York who are trying to practice healthcare independence,
right?
And the National Guard starting to pick up, or possibly picking up those positions in a more sort of family-friendly role in our daily life, and possibly them picking up the jobs at the ports.
Yeah.
And just think that it's kind of frightening that the military, even though I know they're not so much considered the military, the National Guard, but them fitting that role or meeting that criteria to take a more active role in perhaps rationing what comes in to whom and how much, who meets their selective criteria for getting those essential supplies. And I think it's a little concerning that they could be picking up more roles in our life, driving children around, or whatever else. I think it's a concern that the military is just getting a little closer to the people. We saw what they did in Boston. We saw what they did during Katrina, and they were doing things that were unconstitutional with force, and the last thing anybody here is permitted to do is to question their military. That's very unpatriotic. So just to note that that's a bit of a concern if that does develop.
Yeah, I do agree. And it's something worth keeping an eye on, because it's a slow progression to where it'll start off with the food ports and then and trickle down to door deliveries, and it accustoms us to seeing troops on the ground in our normal streets and stuff like that, in a good sense, because they're not a threat to us. But then again, when they flip the switch on us, we'll be used to them with being in the streets. By that time, there'll be more in the streets, and it'll make it that much easier for them to execute a game plan of some type of evil plan. So good point there, man.
And just when COVID, or when the health crisis did start, internationally, everybody was moving their military around. That was everybody's first response was, remember that big medical ship that came to New York and nobody went on.
Right.
But in addition to that, I just want to note briefly that being able to control the primary macro matter, which is the health matter, the healthcare matter, the primary healthcare matter. If they control the macro, it makes it much easier to control these micro matters that develop. So if they have that underlying narrative, the primary base foundational large narrative, the micro narratives that otherwise would have been a little more difficult to organize or have a base from, they can just pop these matters out and make circumstances to control. So ordo ad chaos, a little easier now.
Yeah,
so
good point.
That was all.
Good point, man. Thanks for calling and sharing that. We're definitely worth touching on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Never forget.
Yeah, well done. Speaking of which, just grooming us to the idea of having men in uniforms on the streets. Definitely, this is a way to do that. But also, when all this first started, guess we now we haven't forgotten, but it's just fresh it's good to be reminded that initially what we were told, which caught my surprise. I'm like, I'm thinking like, originally Trump mentioned about mobilizing the U.S. military to deliver the packages throughout the country, and that was supposed to be the whole signing of Operation Warp Speed to mobilize our troops. And at that time, when I saw this, I'm thinking like, this doesn't sound too good, because we're putting boots on the ground, delivering something that could easily be sent via Federal Express and UPS, and the Postal Service. But then again, I'm assuming that was just a narrative, because I don't recall ever seeing any military activity. Maybe some National Guard probably did a little delivery here and there. And I know when there was supposedly a spike in cases, they had a couple hospitals that called in the National Guard to help out, whatever. But we never saw this unfold. And so I was wondering what was happening. Why would he even mention that? Because it ended up playing out as the way I said, that Federal Express, Delta, Southwest Airlines, all the airline industries, they volunteered to send the packages around the country. So what was the whole point in signing that? And when he signed his signature, he signed a signature for the military to be able to deliver packages. We've yet to see that. So, mind you, we're still. I think and somebody let me know if I'm wrong. We're still in a state of national emergency, because that was never revoked or never pulled back. Here we are now. Was it 18, 16, 17 months since the original signature went down? So I think all the framework for that type of activity is still in play and will be utilized down the line. In my opinion, hopefully it's not, but we'll see. All right, let's talk. Apologize, I missed a couple calls. Give me a call. Let's talk. What else is on your mind? Share your 2 cents on anything. Curious to hear what you guys are thinking about all this. Let me get this one here. Okay, here we go. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Latrice calling from Brooklyn.
Latrice, what's on? Give me a quick thought.
Yes. So I heard some of the stuff the other caller said earlier concerning New York. Now, maybe he was talking about upstate New York, but here in the city, because unfortunately, many municipal employees and state employees have complied. We haven't had a need to see any of the National Guard or anybody be implemented for things like with the medical staff shortages. And like today they had a march for dealing with the police and stuff like that and the firemen because their mandates is coming, deadlines is coming up soon. So they're still employed. So there hasn't been a need for the National Guard. But I just wanted to say one other thing for the with the shipping container thing.
Yeah.
I seen a video somebody uploaded. One of the reasons that it might be because we're having all these delays is because where they don't have all the workers at, they have driverless vehicles and they're running the automation services, but the automation services are going slow. So they're telling us in the news we're having all these, driver shortages and all these other stuff, but somebody was able to show on a video, and I posted it on your Telegram community page quite a few days ago. But it showed where the there's activity at the ports, but it's all automation right now. So that's why there's no people on the ground and everything is moving so slow. So I just want to throw that out there for a little tidbit. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna share tonight.
Appreciate you for calling in. Thanks for that.
All right, thanks. Have a great night.
You got it. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Hey, Mike.
Hi there. What's your name? Where you calling from, buddy?
Hey, it's Common Joe from California.
Common Joe. What's going on in Cali, man?
Hey, I just wanted to bring up the topic in case anybody hasn't heard about the Fed taking over like private banking and all that good stuff. And they're going to control the whole thing. So, the buyer and lender of last resort, totally, they got it. They're going to hand it over to the Fed. The Fed is going to take over the whole banking industry, private banking, all your transactions and all that good stuff. They're going to be tracked and traced and all that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Game over. They did it.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Biden's most recent nominee for the OCC official company controller, the young lady, I wonder if she's
I was listening to Greg Matarino this morning, and he was talking. Or no, it actually wasn't Greg. It was somebody else, but they were talking about it. You know who it was? I forget his name. But anyways, they're gonna do it. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna witness it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, and this is where I want this to sound wrong, but yet, just off appearance, she appears to be of Asian descent, and I've seen she's from like Kazakhstan or something like that. But I just find it very interesting that we already suspect that the U.S. is being sold out to China. Everything that is being done is being handed over to China on a platter of Afghanistan and all the wealth and riches in the ground there and all the other stuff. So it's like the U.S. we owe China a lot because they basically helped us to keep this Ponzi scheme going for the last 20 plus years for sure. Nevertheless, 100 years, the entire system. But it's like they're handing over on a platter. And so just to have what I wouldn't say she's an operative, but I would imagine her loyalty will probably be towards the East before it's the West. So where it's like, this is not a coincidence.
That is crazy. That's asinine and crazy.
It's just,
and this whole thing with Fauci and all these. this is crazy how we can let this happen to us.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gotta still tell everybody again. I called you a while back, a month or two ago, and I said free energy is free. Look into it. Geek Motors, running combustion engines off of whatever liquids. There's all kinds of forms of free energy. Energy is free.
Yeah.
We're being duped. I gotta throw that out there. Mike, thank you for everything man. You do for everybody, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for the insights. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's just one of the things where I don't want to make this seem like it's a racial. I don't want to take it there, people. That's not me. But it's like when I see all these things, and then you factor in. There's other articles I haven't talked about yet, but if you look at a lot of the college professors throughout the country at a lot of these institutions in the economic realm, and a lot of high up positions that are consultants and advisors or whatever, an overwhelming majority of them, from what I saw based upon articles or whatnot, a lot of them are of Asian descent. So I'm thinking like, wow, like, definitely they could be born American, but yet I question if their heart, is for our country. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. Forgive me. I hope that didn't come across wrong, but I didn't mean it that way. And then speaking of which, we got caravans, another 30, 40,000 coming to America. Everybody wants to come to America. At the same time, wealthy already left. And a lot of us probably should be leaving if there was somewhere to go. Anyway, let me get this. All right, let's get these calls. Appreciate it, man. I'm missing. Yeah, give me a call back. I apologize. I get caught up in my rants. Forgive me. All right, let's keep it moving. Here we go. Unfortunately, I don't have a call waiting, so I have to cancel other calls. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How you doing, bro?
TB, you doing good, my man. What's up with you?
Man, one more again.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
One more again.
Here we are.
And we got 8 inches of rain last night, man.
So congratulations. I think you guys been in a drought for quite some time, huh?
Man, Mother Nature has a way of curing herself, man. Look at that volcano.
Yeah. Now watch this. So let me ask you a question real quick off topic, then you get your question in. So for me hearing about the drought over there for the last umpteen months, dry summer, dry, all the lakes are basically tapped out. I'm assuming that rain, did that help? And was that like a part of the plan, or did they send a storm y'all way, do you think, or is that natural, or what do you think?
No, the natural God heals herself.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about how the bomb came and everything else, and it was unexpected. But that's the way things are when you're dealing with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
I mean, we needed that rain. And what they do is and for everybody that don't know, is they take, if there's a drought, they take all the reservoirs and start to drain them down and send all that water down to L.A. L.A. has no water.
Yeah.
Desert. And they send it down in the nice little estuaries and everything. Looks really nice and everything. And fill those up for the farmers going down.
Yeah.
And they just drain it off the mountains. And we needed the rain. And we get the 8 inches. This year, they're talking about El Nino, so we'll get a lot of rain.
Yeah.
And now they're going to talk about all the dams going to explode. It's circle jerk, man. It's a circle jerk.
Oh,
we're good with it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have more.
There's been a lot of landslides and trees fall over, though. I mean,
yeah,
that was real.
Yeah. So Jay says 100% weather modification.
by the natural God herself. Let me say herself, because that's where she is. I've never seen anything produced by man. Everything comes through a woman.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Okay. Latrice might hit on something with the ports. To my understanding, and I'm just going by my understanding, I'm not putting it out there as law.
Yeah.
What is happening is this has been happening since February of last year. The ports have been somewhat overtaken and backed up because of the logistics, and they don't have a czar for the ports. Biden's introducing some chick that has 1 year experience from the Navy, just a face for her. You know how they put a face on it, and then they still do the screwery on the back end. But what's happened is the fact that when they shut everything down, they shut the ports down too. so these ships just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and now people are reordering because they want stuff on the shelf, and then they reorder again because it didn't make the shelf and they don't want to be out. So now you got maybe 3 ships out there. But when they unload these ships, they have to put these containers somewhere.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take them off the ship, and then they stack them to wherever they can get them within safety distance, because you don't want them falling over in the yard. You got a mess.
Yeah.
So they're stocking it, and now they run out of place to put them. So they're shuffling in the yard for logistics in the yard, so they can get these other thousands of ships or whatever you got out there on port. And they are trying to automate, but I don't think they're there yet. I think it's just some logistics that they're trying for the 2030 agenda, but they aren't there yet. I sent an article in the Discord about how they were trying to automate the LA ports, but you can actually go, and I might be wrong when I said Biden is going to be Santa Claus for Christmas. and I hate to say that, but I might be, because this is a logistical nightmare that they have no idea how to fix. They can actually use the NDA that Trump used in order to make the mask, but they can force anybody to do anything with the NDA. The Navy has ships. They can resolve this problem. That's if they want to, but once you open up the economy, because that's what it's going to do. Once you start getting these ships flowing, it's going to open up the economy.
Yeah, I agree with that, but the question is, like, so Biden is talking a good game about needing to do whatever, mobilize the National Guard to help out with all this. But, do they really want to open up the economy, you think? Like, I think that goes against what they want to do.
No. They by no means can they open up the economy. Otherwise you'll go straight to hyperinflation. So they've got to bury this with fake printing money and putting it in bank reserves. But the banks don't even use the bank reserves.
Yeah.
So that tells you the money's fake. They don't want that.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? What has to happen is they have to get these naval ships that are able to house these containers and get these ships out of this area that they're circling around and load it, because some of the ships are actually hitting the oil line.
Yeah.
It's a mess situation down there, and there's nobody down there running the port as far as a czar to say, okay, this is the logistics, let's get some of these Navy ships. They got ships that's got cranes on them that can unload these bigger ships. If they got smaller docks that they can use. Oakland's open.
Yeah.
They aren't even using the Oakland port. And you can look on the Los Angeles, LA, I believe it's LA port, Los Angeles port, and it's .com, and they show you what's going on there. You see the trucks lined up, you see the ships being there, and you see the trucks unloading, and it's a whole operation that they allow you to see on the ports. And they are not operating. When Biden said he was running 24/7, I thought, aha, that's what they're going to do in order to get it for him to be Santa Claus. And then I started looking at this thing about the ports being 24/7, and they've got even a place on there that shows you the operation of the ports. And for at least till the next weekend, the ports are closed Friday and Saturday. Saturday and Sunday. I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday. There's only one port that's operating 24/7.
Yeah.
So you can, and there are tons of ports, and the logistics of the ships coming in. There are tons of ports down there, and there are tons of ships out there. But every ship is assigned to a certain port. The next ship up can't go in the first open port. He has to go in the port that he has been assigned to.
Yeah.
So till that port comes open, he's stuck out there in the water. YTI is a bad port. And, this guy's been stuck out there for 30 days, and it's been a Chinese ship for some odd reason. I don't know. But when they go to these ports, they have to, and Florida can't help them. Florida's just talking a bunch of stuff out as yin yang.
Yeah.
Because if they reroute that ship to Florida, Florida's got to unload it and somehow or another find a way to get back to California with the material.
Yeah, that's more time. That's a couple months.
Even worse than the problem.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we may have to shut everything down again in order to figure out this logistics stuff.
Shut down. That don't sound too good, but that sounds like that's more up their alley. That sounds like that more up their alley than to open things up and to go back to normal, even though they've let the cat out the bag with all that excess currency. And once again, the money velocity is not moving; it's decreasing. So it's like the moment that. So my question will be: will we ever see a point in the near future where the money velocity will pick up, where people say, "Hey," they realize what's going on, and they try to start unloading some of those digits and notes out of their possession? And I think that's I wonder if that has anything to do with Jack Dorsey's hyperinflation quote.
No, we'll never get to hyperinflation until we can get some money moved, and they are going to let the money move at all. They are going to let that money move, because if you let the money move, we'll get to where Jack Dorsey says.
Yeah.
And we just can't do that. Unfortunately for us, we're screwed. We're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And everything has a price.
Yeah.
Everything in the world has a price. The only thing natural is free.
Yeah.
Because God made it natural.
100, man.
Everything He created is free. He give you a seed to make an apple. How many apples can you get off that tree?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man.
And then you have to ask, here's the way to do it. You have to ask yourself, what if I'm paying for this, what is the price I'm paying? When you go for that jab, what is the price you're paying for that jab? You're actually putting your life at risk.
Yeah.
When you pay for that gas, ours is $4.19 now. When you pay for that $4.19 gas, what are you risking? What are you paying for? I'm paying to get back and forth, but I don't know how many times I can do this without dying. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, I'm paying this money. What am I paying for?
Yeah,
I'm going to let somebody else get in there.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you as well. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. What are you getting for the bucks while you can still spend them? Yeah. So as we go to the drawdown, man, we know where we're at. We're in the middle of the complete decimation of the monetary system, political system, social order. Everything we've known is shifting right now by design. Nothing is accidentally happening with this whole port bottleneck stuff they want to use. Shut down, open up. It's all a part of a game plan that they have to try to further suppress the people so that we'll be forced to participate in whatever they roll our way. So now, whatever currency units you do have now, put it to use for yourself in a way that hopefully can protect and preserve yourself a lot longer than if you went around as if everything is going back to normal, well, things have already changed. Just from a psychological standpoint, people see the world a lot differently now. They've already sold us on, the left and right paradigm of the vax versus the unvaxxed, and the fact that people are now really saying that, they're concerned. They've participated fully. They got their double doses, but now the CDC is saying that they're about to start reevaluating the status of being fully vaccinated, because they're going to include, you need that booster now. So once the booster is approved for all ages within the next month, because there's no science behind this, within the next month, by December, you won't be considered fully participated unless you got all three, just like what's happening all around the world. So nothing new. We know how it goes. All right, let's talk. Let me see here. I missed. All right. Anyway, but let's get it dial back. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed the back and forth, you're getting a chance to listen to the community and share your thoughts in the chat, hit the thumbs up button down below. And as always, I want to make sure you guys realize Discord is where you can stay connected with us, share articles, videos throughout the day, and then also Telegram as well. You guys can stay connected throughout the day, so we'll be all plugged in. And other than that, man, keep it moving. Just stay prayed up. And, of course, just do the best we can to produce fruit for the kingdom, ultimately. That's what it's about, man. Sharing your faith with others, helping other people realize what time it is in real life, not necessarily what they think it is, but what's really going on from a biblical standpoint, because we're in spiritual warfare right now, people. And it's hard. And I wish more of our leaders in church would speak on, just helping people discern the signs of the times, with the fact that the government now are limiting your options and they're telling you what's best for you, let you know that something ain't right. You need to question everything, believe nothing. And be led by the Holy Spirit, man. But anyway, let's close out with a little bit of prayer as always for those that are participating in this with us. We appreciate you as always. Want to make sure we lift up the good Lord for the opportunity to connect tonight, as well as giving us the strength and the knowledge to be able to endure and keep pushing forward and making the best out of these times, because these are good times, to say the least, despite what we're seeing and witnessing. But A lot of opportunity to be a blessing and to be blessed. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight. We ask that you continue to watch over us, protect us, and keep us, Father. We thank you for your word, which is a light until our path. We thank you for your spirit, which is our comforter, Father, in this current season of life. We ask that you give us wisdom and insight to be able to discern everything that we come across, everything that we come against, Father. We ask that you would just continue to, use us to advance your kingdom in this earth, Father. Help us to be a tool that you'll use to further the movement of just getting people saved and brought into the kingdom, as well as continue to do great things and giving you honor and glory, Father. We thank you in advance for all that you have done and will do. In the name of Jesus, amen. All right, people. That is all she wrote for tonight. Anyway, be blessed, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow, Lord willing, same time, same place. And then also on another note, as I mentioned, starting off earlier, taking advantage of the opportunities just in front of us. And so we know that a part of this financial transition happens to be through that window of the digital asset space. And so that sector, there's a lot of things I'm curious about. As I mentioned before, I do follow a lot of projects, but I'm interested in basically talking more about what's happening in that space from an investment standpoint. And so to me, I consider it, as a software protocols that people can invest in and be able to take direct ownership of their shares in those projects, i.e. those coins and tokens. So thinking about doing more talking about the crypto space as I continue to study on my own. But yet, if you guys are interested, would love to be able to live stream or whatnot, and probably interview a couple people in the crypto space and have them share some information on how they are trying to add value to the world through software. But anyway, until then, we will see how that goes. But be blessed, be safe. See you guys later. Peace. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day, your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%. Follow up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air, as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is to connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.